Washington Nationals are LA bound.
This moment's huge for this team in the city.
Howie Kendrick with a 10th inning grand slam.
We are now working.
Let's go Nats! Let's go Nats! Let's go Nats! Go Nats!
There's something about walking into history that puts a kick in your step.
The city is alive.
For the first time since this franchise formed 50 years ago.
Well, this is something you've never seen before.
The Washington Nationals are only one win away from playing in the World Series.
The Washington Nationals are National League champions.
How do you top a Game 6 for the ages?
How about one for all the marbles?
ABC 7 live in Houston with the biggest night of baseball in Nationals history.
I'm ready to cry now. After momentous home runs, controversy on the way to first, and a manager in a foul mood, the underdog Nats now out to finish the fight with Mad Max on the mound and dogs, babies, and this guy.
I had to skip out on the rehearsal dinner to go to Game 3.
The entire DMV on their side.
The Nats are on the verge of winning it all.
Base hit. I believe, no, 2 runs will score. Robert Burton was right. Talk about insurance. The Washington Nationals now lead 6-2 in the top of the 9th.
I've seen people just running around. It's getting real, y'all. Let me just say that.
All right, Tom, thanks. And as I quote Tom, it's getting real, y'all. There we go.
Out, away.
3-2. Here it is.
Win the World Series. Houston, you got a problem! We are the world champions.
Come on, are you ready? I will be hammered at the frame. You wait. I just hope I can stay on the float.
We found some Nats fans that left the stadium. You guys, I said to you, Matt, you don't want to stay for the ceremony. You want to do your own celebrating. And what did you say?
Oh, we're about to go get hammered and celebrate the right way. Woo!
Why not?
Pretty noisy down here.
This is the best.
Baby shark, doo 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 doo, baby shark, doo 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 doo, baby shark, doo 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 doo, baby shark.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? This place went berserk.
This is mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing.
Everybody began to believe in the Peanuts.
The Nats have won the World Series.
We believe. Woo!
The confetti is falling. This is the moment everybody's been waiting for.
He is the people's manager. And one thing he did tell the fans before he went into the dugout in that Game 7, he told the fans, this is you. This is all you. You did this.
Oh, here we go. Starting early. So I'm on daddy duty right now. So we're gonna go to John Gonzalez as Adam Eaton enjoys his champagne. We're gonna check in a little bit later here on the party bus. We're starting early. Best seat in the house. They are 50 people deep on Constitution Avenue. We are the first bus on the parade route. The Washington Monument serving as a beautiful backdrop. The African American Smithsonian Museum. It is unbelievable. I mean, goosebumps.
We're 2019 World Series champs, and nobody can ever take that away from us.
Right now at 11 o'clock, a night in Washington like no other.
President Trump, now the 3rd president in history to be impeached.
7 is on your side with the fallout.
And the latest on how the trial in the Senate could play out.
When you walk out the door in the morning, it will be the coldest so far this season. I'll show you where the coldest of the spots will be. Plus, even with a guilty verdict, see why the fight for justice isn't over for the family of a murdered college student.
Because this is only the beginning.
And remembering the football coach who was a titan on and off the field.
Now, ABC 7 News at 11. On your side. We begin with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news comes from here, our nation's capital. President Trump tonight becoming the third president in U.S. history to be impeached by the House. And when the votes were all added up, Nancy Pelosi, as you'll watch here in a second with the gavel, and warning members of her own party, do not cheer, do not applaud. Only 3 Democrats broke ranks in voting on the articles of impeachment. The first, abuse of power and soliciting interference from a foreign government. That's Ukraine. The second article was obstruction of Congress. President's aides who had been subpoenaed to testify never did. Tonight, ABC 7's chief political correspondent Scott Thuman with how we got here.
Well, just a remarkable evening here on Capitol Hill. We knew this day would come. We also knew the likely result, but it didn't take away from the drama that unfolded.
Article 1 is adopted.
It was predicted, but still a sobering moment of gravity rarely seen in American history. Along mostly party lines, the House Wednesday impeaching President Trump. Democrats getting what many sought after for so long, even if reluctantly.
Today, I will vote to impeach the President of the United States. I want you to know that it does not feel good.
I want to warn you, what you're about to hear is disturbing. Here's 7 on your side, I-Team reporter Scott Taylor.
Try to backhand you right in your teeth. How's that for anxiety?
According to parents, that's a secret recording of an instructor talking to kids inside a special education class at Berkeley Heights Elementary School in Martinsburg, West Virginia. Amber Pack sent her 8-year-old daughter to class with a recording device after the child didn't want to go back to school.
I'll punch you in your face.
A different instructor in the same class.
Well, you gotta go pee-pee? Pee-pee? Or do you not have to go pee-pee and you just want to go across the chair?
There's more.
I'm gonna pull your hair until you stop crying. Don't throw it. Don't throw. Animal, you. Yep. You winch. You're like a pygmy. You're like a pygmy.
The next day, Pack alerted the school district and the Martinsburg Police Department.
Do you think this has been going on for a while?
Yes. That was the first day I put the recorder in her hair.
One day you caught all
One
this?
day. 8 hours.
You can hear the instructors sometimes singing songs and reading stories to students, and other times...
How your tears dry up so quickly, crocodile. And then she wants to destroy everything in sight. I'm gonna knock you out.
I couldn't eat for 3 days. I was my stomach, everything. I was just so upset, and every time I looked at her, I'd start crying. What is this?
Casey Murphy, whose 6-year-old son Owen is in the same class, says during a late October parents-teachers conference, nobody alerted her to the recording, even though Pack had already handed it over to the school district.
I've never heard from the principal, never heard from the superintendent, never heard from any of them.
It wasn't until November, after Pack posted a clip of the recording on Facebook, that Murphy became aware of it.
I'm gonna beat your butt. For sure. You know, and you're gonna get one just cuz.
It's sickening. Like, people don't even talk to animals like that, and they're talking to nonverbal children who don't understand why they're talking to them like that. They're not doing anything wrong.
On the recording, the instructors tease and refuse to give Owen food.
Growl at me, I dare you, and you won't get one. Go ahead. There's nothing says I have to give you a snack. Nothing. Looks like you get nothing, Owen. Sorry, buddy.
The Berkeley County Prosecutor's Office found no criminal wrongdoing, but County Prosecutor Katie Wilkes Delegati told Casey Murphy, "I am not in any way condoning the verbal treatment of your children by the individuals in the classroom." Right now, all 3 instructors are on paid administrative leave.
I don't understand why you treated her the way you treated her. She did not deserve that. No kid does.
The school district, which declined multiple interview requests, is still investigating and says state law prevents it from sharing information. The Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Education right now is getting involved with its own investigation. Now, we reached out to all 3 of the instructors, and so far we've only heard back from 1, and they're telling us she doesn't have any comment.
It is absolutely disgusting, and as a parent, you are infuriated when you see that.
Yeah, that is really, I don't know how these mothers just stayed so calm. It's standing room only at Monday's Berkeley County School Board meeting, and emotions are at an all-time high as parents ask for multiple resignations of school district officials.
I ask you that you do the right thing and you turn in your resignation immediately.
7 on Your Side broke this story wide open, and now the school district superintendent is stepping down. Here's Scott Taylor in Martinsburg, West Virginia.
Berkeley County School Superintendent Manny Arvon wants out, and Board of Education members voted to accept his retirement. Former Berkeley County Schools special education teacher Christina Lester and former aides June Urish and Christian Dowdy all in court after their August arrest on a misdemeanor charge in connection to a secret classroom recording that a student's mother claims revealed disturbing comments by instructors to students in a special education classroom.
Trying to backhand you right in your teeth. How's that for anxiety?
Can you tell me why you made the comments on the recording? Would you like to say anything at all?
No comment.
This is a wild story on both ends. Uber and Lyft drivers say their pay has been cut so much it's hard to feed their families and make their car payments. Now they say they are forced to manipulate the Uber and Lyft apps into surge pricing. What they do each night, simultaneously, all of the drivers will turn off their apps, tricking the app into thinking there are no drivers in the nearby area. That makes a surge, which means passenger prices double, triple, even quadruple, and it all happens in less than 2 minutes. Every evening, this Uber and Lyft parking lot outside Reagan National Airport fills. 120 to 150 drivers queue up, sometimes for hours, waiting for the busy evening rush. And nearly all of these drivers have one complaint.
Uber, they don't pay us enough.
What company is doing, they are actually defrauding all these people by taking 35 to 40%, and they're taking all this money because they have no system of accountability.
Do you guys all agree with that?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
After 2 to 3 years of pay cuts, these drivers say they now have to fight back by artificially manipulating the Uber and Lyft apps into higher fares.
All the riders, we wait over here, so we know the airplane when kind of landed. We wait like 5 minutes before. We turn our apps off, all of us, at the same time, all of us. We turn our app off. They got the surge by $10, $12, sometimes $19, and then we turn our app off. Everyone will get the surge.
This driver explains how they organize it.
Someone is stand by this corner, I stand by this corner, and the other one is stand by this corner. And we just like, hey, turn the app off, and then go online.
Now watch for yourself as our cameras roll for tonight's first planned surge.
Wait! You gotta wait. Wait.
This man runs the operation tonight. We've agreed to obscure his identity. He alerts drivers that the time to shut down is just around the corner. Using another app, he knows the precise moment to have everyone power down, ensuring the largest surge.
Hey! Wait, you gotta wait. All right, go on. Go. Take 12, take.
So the surge is currently at $12 and rising. He watches his phone closely, waiting for that exact moment when it's time to power up.
It's still going up.
Is it going up?
It's still going up. A 14. It's 13. It's still going up.
It's gonna go up?
It's 13. Don't go on yet. You on?
Yeah.
You on? Refresh it.
And that quickly, it's over. Passengers will now pay an additional $13 on their fares.
It is midnight here in San Pedro Sula, and this is where it all begins. They're boarding buses. All of them are heading north. If you talk to some, they'll admit the ultimate goal is to make it to the United States.
This is the reason I'm leaving, this man told us.
He is trying to make it to the United States, he said, because low wages here make it impossible to support his young family. This man says his tattoos make him a target for gangs, so his only choice to leave.
Those can get him killed?
Sí. Honduras is one of the poorest and most violent countries in Central America, surrounded by Spanish-speaking nations with stronger economies. Panama and Costa Rica have had generous asylum policies. And to the north, Guatemala and Mexico have been open to migrants in recent years. But despite that, many still choose the 1,600-mile trek to America.
It's been drilled into our heads since forever that it's the best nation in the history of the world. Why wouldn't anyone who's trying to save their life go to the best place?
Honduran photojournalist Tomas Ayoso has been documenting this flight for 4 years.
It is an exodus. At some point, only biblical terms come to mind when you talk about it.
A project he's entitled The Right to Grow Old.
These are the feet of a 15-year-old boy who walked through Mexico as he was trying to get away.
In flip-flops.
That's what he had.
There is poverty, violence, and corruption here. Some argue in the last few years there has also been change.
My daughter is in Tennessee.
American pastor Stephen Petty believes that staying in Honduras is a better option.
I tell them, don't go. It's not worth it. What you're doing is breaking up your family. And that's what's hurting Honduras now, by all these people leaving. Unless they leave as a family, but they don't.
17-year-old Axel and his 14-year-old girlfriend were leaving the day we met them. The gang was recruiting him, and he said no, an answer that he says will get him killed.
You know it's a long journey to get to the United States.
Yes, it would be better for us to make that difficult journey many times than staying here and losing our lives, he told us.
What do you worry about?
That we can die along the way, she said. They zip up their worldly possessions into 2 small backpacks, say their final goodbyes, and walk off to an uncertain future.
What do you think about right now when you watch him walk away?
Tanto peligro en el camino.
All of the dangers that they're going to have to face along the way, she told us.
When do you think you'll see him again?
No sé.
I don't know.
No sé.
I don't know, she said. Axel told us all they have now is each other, what's in their backpacks, and God.
I went home and I pulled out my photo album. And I came across that picture, and it made me really uncomfortable. And it made me shudder, but I didn't know why. I started having flashbacks to the abuse. I buried it in my head. He was our friend. He was just always there. And we all thought so much of him. I feel so bad because I was his first parish. And I didn't tell on him. And I feel so much guilt for those that came after me. And I know that others came after me because I've spoken to them.
The very things that make us feel safe, accepted, and loved, like home, faith, and intimacy, have been forever altered for countless survivors of priest sex abuse.
He'd abuse me in the base of my house and then go up and have dinner with my family. And I would sit at dinner and think, doesn't anyone see I'm different?
All of my adult life, I carried this secret. No, I've never told anybody about this.
They're trying to keep as much of Bill Reineke's history buried as is possible because it's obvious he had a long and he had a very detailed history of sexual abuse of young people that goes way back, and they don't want that known.
In 1965, the oldest Roman Catholic church in Virginia, now known as the Basilica of St. Mary in Alexandria, was home to a young 26-year-old priest by the name of William Reineke. That same year, 13-year-old Kelly Arnold began as an altar boy at St. Mary, Becky Ianni was in elementary school and, at the time, an enthusiastic member of the parish.
He was a brand new, newly ordained priest. He came to our house and he sort of adopted our family. He came and he ate dinner at our house 2 and 3 times a week.
My parents idolized the man. He baptized my baby sister.
In fact, Arnold grew so close to Father Reinecke he eventually addressed him by his first name.
No, the parents loved this man. Everybody loved Billy. Everybody loved Billy. You can't get around that fact.
Years later, Father Reinecke ascended to Chancellor and Vicar General, among the most powerful positions in the Diocese of Arlington, positions allowing him to review pedophile priest complaints.
The pedophile was in charge of all the other pedophiles.
But long before he attained the esteemed title of Monsignor, Father Reinecke groomed and sexually assaulted children like Becky Ianni, who says her torment lasted from ages 8 to 12.
This was pictures of me at all the different ages. You know, I became a lot more serious as time went on because of the abuse. I became a different person.
Ianni, now an advocate for abuse survivors with SNAP in Northern Virginia, says Father Reinecke cost her nearly everything: her self-confidence, her faith, and her smile.
Because I knew that God could read my thoughts. And I thought, if he knows this is happening, then I'm going to hell. So I just buried it until I came across this picture.
Ianni says when she was 48 years old in 2006, she found this haunting Polaroid. It's Father Reinecke sitting beside Becky on a couch during the time of her abuse in the 1960s. After seeing this one picture, the memories flooded back.
On a frigid Friday morning, just 4 days after Christmas 2017, Jordan Way returned home to a hero's welcome in Maryland. The 23-year-old Navy corpsman's death was a shock. He died not in a combat zone, but following routine shoulder surgery at a California naval hospital.
My son died, and there's no accountability. How can this happen?
It took Dana and Susie Way a year to get answers to explain how their son died. In agonizing calls after surgery, he told them he couldn't get relief from excruciating pain, despite a trip to the ER where records show Jordan was disheveled, sobbing, and in obvious distress. He was also given increasing doses of a powerful painkiller prescribed by military doctors, then carefully doled out by friends who kept watch. Jordan's autopsy said he died from opioid toxicity.
When I last talked to him, he was slowly dying, asking for help, and 3 days of make it through the weekend, don't be that guy. Here, take more opioids. And he died. Because he did what the doctors told him to do.
If their son was a civilian, the Ways could have filed suit, claimed negligence. But since 1950, what's known as the Ferris Doctrine has generally barred active service members and their families from suing the government for medical malpractice. Battles to overturn the law have gone as far as the Supreme Court, which has repeatedly rejected the challenges. Now Congress is trying again with a bipartisan bill named after a Green Beret who testified in April with labored breath that military doctors repeatedly missed the cancer in his lungs until it was terminal.
It shows you just how important this issue is. You have Republicans and Democrats realizing that this is a weakness in the military.
Republican Congressman Guy Reschenthaler is a Navy veteran and former military lawyer. He says the Ferris Doctrine needs to be overturned.
If you're horrifically injured because of medical malpractice, if you're misdiagnosed, you cannot recover for that financially, and neither can your family members. Where if that happens on the outside and you're a civilian, you could absolutely file suit. So I just want service members to be treated the same.
Defenders of the Ferris Doctrine say there's already a system in place to compensate service members in the form of both disability and death benefits. But that's little comfort for families like the Ways, who buried their son at Arlington.
It's not about the money. It's about holding people accountable
in the military world the way we hold people accountable in the civilian world.
The Ferris Doctrine to me is a terrorist that has taken our service members hostage. Our active duty military deserve better than that.
Oh, that was great.
Playing a round of golf at Blue Ridge Shadows in Front Royal, Virginia has become far more than friendly competition for Tom Ertz and Joe McGuire.
He's a very determined person and a very determined golfer. It's great that he is still out there doing this where we can play together.
I started to play golf with my buddy here, and she still beats me, but today I might beat him.
These old college pals have been playing each other for nearly 50 years. Their favorite moment captured in this 1983 picture at the famed Royal St. George's Golf Club in England.
It's a par 5.
Now, in their late 60s, they play with a renewed enthusiasm.
Shot.
Thanks to a lifelong friendship strengthened even more in recent years.
Oh yeah, it's in.
Good putt, Tommy.
In 2008, Tom, a longtime public relations expert in the healthcare field, got the diagnosis he suspected.
And I knew I had something wrong with me, so I figured it was probably Parkinson's.
This progressive disease with no known cure began overwhelming Tom.
I had trouble breathing sometimes. I just get short of breath. And I couldn't take any deep breath, so my diaphragm wasn't working very well, I think. And also, I was exhausted. I was tired. I was going to bed earlier and earlier every night. I was stiff. I couldn't move.
He feared his days of playing golf were over. In 2012, he underwent deep brain stimulation surgery. He says the results were stunning.
It saved my life. This was great. It's great. It feels good.
While Tom feels considerably better, there's much he cannot control. He falls. A lot.
Oh man! Fell down about 5,000 times the last 3 years. It's
that many?
Yeah. Oh man!
Tom has developed prevention techniques.
Man.
He often carries multiple clubs for better balance. He'll shuffle, stutter step, take longer strides, higher strides, whatever it takes to stay upright, whatever it takes to keep playing.
You only get one life. That's the only life I got. And I had fun doing that, so why don't I do it? Until I can't do it anymore. So I'm going to keep doing it until I can't do it anymore.
And it's Joe's job to follow Tom closely with the cart to ensure that he does as little walking as possible.
The falling down part is very alarming at the beginning, but the first time he did it, he said, "Don't worry about me. I can get up, bounce back up." So by the end of the match, it's like, not even paying attention to him doing that.
It's fun playing against Joe because he's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're out driving me and you have Parkinson's disease. I gotta have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
To be clear, Tom wanted us here so the world could witness not a person with a disease playing golf,
I still got, I gotta beat him now. But that tied me up with it.
but a person determined to thrive in a world that is often arbitrary and unfair.
And it roll.
You try to be there if you can, but he if you ever try to pick him up, he's strong as an ox. So it's he'll get up on his own.
Maybe that's why Tom feels so at home here.
Yes, all right. Purr, yes. All right.
With his lifelong pal Joe by his side.
You getting tired? You got some meds due or something to eat, or want that candy bar in there?
I'm fine right now.
Come on, man. Gotta hold together here.
Yeah.
Bertie, you're playing pretty good. Must be all the fame and fortune.
Fortunate indeed to realize that the place that makes you feel most alive exists within the richness of friendship, spanning oceans and generations, nestled now in fields of green, where it's okay to fall, knowing someone will be there to pick you up. In Front Royal, Virginia, I'm Jay Korf for ABC 7 News.
On something to give us an idea, give us some perspective of how much rain we got in such a short period of time.
Tell us what you've learned, Bill.
So when we look at it yesterday, good evening, guys, good evening, everyone, it was so much liquid, and it wasn't just here in D.C. It was from Hagerstown right down 270, down through the district and into Charles County. But what I wanted to do was just focus in specifically inside the Beltway. So here's the Beltway that goes around. So I took a square of this area. The average precip yesterday, and this was basically over an hour or two, was 2.4 inches. I then looked at the distance and said, okay, that's roughly 336 square miles in this zone. So how much water is that? And it is a monster number. It is over 14 billion gallons. So the question is, how much water is that in the real world perspective? We could say Olympic-sized swimming pools and it fills up, so many. I put it out from here to the Mississippi, essentially, is how long those would stretch. But what I wanted to do was put it locally and say, okay, let's look at the National Mall, for example. So I have it here on the table. So we got the Lincoln Memorial this end. Here's the Washington Monument. We come down here, the U.S. Capitol. If we could somehow take the National Mall and put walls and kind of harness in that area, it's a total of roughly 480 acres. If we took that and we took the rain that fell, again, just inside the Beltway, we're not talking about the entire DMA, what would that equal? So I'm going to zoom this on in for you. I'll kind of walk on in. We're looking down 23rd Street here northwest. That's, of course, the Lincoln Memorial. It would be up and equal 89.6 feet. It would nearly cover the Lincoln Memorial. We work our way down the mall over to the Washington Monument, which, of course, the monument's high. It's 555 feet. This would take it up about a fifth of the monument. All those flags that are around, they would all be gone. We take it down a little bit farther down the mall. The museums, all of those would practically be underwater. Nearly every building would be underwater at 90 feet. And then the U.S. Capitol here, the U.S. Capitol is 288 feet, so it wouldn't cover that, but it would cover all of that lower area. That would be underwater. Again, that is how much liquid fell yesterday. If we could harness that within the Beltway, it would be 89.6 feet. Pretty remarkable stuff, guys. We'll send it back over to you.
Wow, that's amazing, and it puts it in perspective,
Right.
It's wow.
A lot of water.
Thank you, Bill. So just...
So did you figure it out? Well, she figured it out. Let's go. Congratulations. Woo! Yeah! Oh my God. So here you go, guys. Here's your baby boy.
It's on inspection day.
It's inspection day. You're being inspected. Chief. I'm stunned.
Thank you so much. Thank you all of you for being here.
Thanks, guys, for making it happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feels all us.
What? No.
It seems odd that an entire neighborhood and strangers living hours away would come out to wish someone happy birthday. But the Weinberger family is blessed to live in a very special community that rose before dawn to pull off a remarkable surprise.
I see a sea of yellow, everything.
Early Wednesday morning, some 200 yellow-colored vehicles, including sports cars, construction equipment, and buses, gathered near the Weinbergers' home in Alexandria. Some drove through the night.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jones Johnson, and I'm stationed at Fort Hamilton, New York.
They came after hearing about Whitaker Weinberger's bumblebee birthday surprise.
At such a young age, he's fought more than all of us have, and I'm just so honored to be here.
Whitaker fought stage 4 neuroblastoma the first few years of his life.
It's been a good 2.5, 3 years of cancer hell.
He was always too sick to have a proper birthday, but now that he's doing better, his mom Erin hatched a plan.
Hi, thank you.
Weeks ago, she asked anyone with a yellow car, similar to Whitaker's beloved bumblebee toy from Transformers, to line his morning walk to school on this, his 4th birthday.
Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
So many people came on foot and in yellow cars that the Alexandria Sheriff's Department helped with traffic control.
Thank you, everyone. I'm completely overwhelmed. I'm so thankful. This is all community coming together, and it's amazing.
And it's fair to say Whitaker was wide-eyed the entire mile walk to school.
I'm gonna keep all. You want to keep them all? Thank you.
Despite the unrealistic dreams of a 4-year-old, Whitaker did not walk away with any life-size bumblebees.
Thank you, everybody.
But his family left knowing that good people from far and wide exist around every corner.
It's amazing. I can't believe how great this is. I can't believe how many people showed up. Such an insanely great community that we live in.
Maybe the greatest gift on this day came in the simplest package. It's a card addressed, "Dear Whitaker, my name is Frank. I'm 12 years old and I'm a childhood cancer survivor as well. I'm almost a year into remission. I am extremely happy for you and impressed of how strong you are. Have an amazing 4th birthday." Amazing indeed. I'm Jay Korf for ABC 7 News.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Boston Riders.
Everyone that I know that knows Larry says that he's been here forever.
Good morning. Good morning, young lady.
Larry doesn't ask anybody for anything. He just sits out here and brightens everyone's day.
Good morning. Good morning. If they might be feeling down, I'm gonna brighten their day up. That's what they call me, the good morning man. Right here, what kept me going to the graveyard and back to prison. Good morning, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning, Master Murrows. Good morning. Good morning.
We're going to get this cleaned up.
They rolled tires, they threw tires. Down hills, in the woods, across alleys and yards. Hundreds of them by the hands of police officers, recruits, public works workers, and Anacostia watershed volunteers.
We're not going to have enough dumpster.
Behind the 500 block of Ridge Road Southeast, police say this man, 56-year-old Deron McDonald, is responsible for dumping 1,000 tires here and in other parts of Southeast, and police want your help in finding him.
It looked like he was using stolen vehicles, loading them up, and dumping the tires over here.
They believe dealers sold the tires to him to dispose of on the cheap, ignoring licensed disposers.
When you bypass that process and pocket that money on the side, you end up with this.
They say they've known about this since before Christmas. This is the day they were able to get all the agencies together to take care of this, and obviously there is a lot to take care of. Police say the tires are headed for a transfer station and then the landfill. In Southeast Washington, I'm Sam Ford, ABC 7 News.
It's a gift from God. God gives all of us different gifts. That's one gift God gave me. I came out of a little town of Pekin, 250 people, and here I am, set the record of 1,250. I was a gambler. I gambled 62 years. I quit gambling like 2 years ago. I started hitting these balls, and I'm getting close to making some. I never missed. It was like a machine. 1250, 500 in a row, 707 in a row. And that night, I made 1,250 shots in a row. At 2 o'clock in the morning, they wanted to stay open because I did not miss. And I was so exhausted, I was ready to quit. Yeah, I was 50 years old. I'm 81. My nickname on my jacket is Mr. Spot Shot. It was a gift.
Thank you, Washington, for coming out for the ABC7 Toys for Tots Toy Drive.
It's a great opportunity to give back where you actually grew up.
It's been great this year. And what a great place to do it at here at the Iwo Jima Memorial.
Happy holidays from ABC7.
Right now at 11 o'clock, a night in Washington like no other.
President Trump, now the third president in history to be impeached.
7 is on your side with the fallout.
And the latest on how the trial in the Senate could play out.
When you walk out the door in the morning, it will be the coldest so far this season. I'll show you where the coldest of the spots will be.
Plus, even with a guilty verdict, see why the fight for justice isn't over for the family of a murdered college student.
Because this is only the beginning.
And remembering the football coach who was a titan on and off the field.
Now, ABC 7 News at 11. On your side. We begin with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news comes from here, our nation's capital. President Trump tonight becoming the third president in U.S. history to be impeached by the House. And when the votes were all added up, Nancy Pelosi, as you'll watch here in a second with the gavel, and warning members of her own party, do not cheer, do not applaud. Only 3 Democrats broke ranks in voting on the articles of impeachment. The first, abuse of power and soliciting interference from a foreign government. That's Ukraine. The second article was obstruction of Congress. President's aides who had been subpoenaed to testify never did. Tonight, ABC 7's chief political correspondent Scott Thuman with how we got here.
Well, just a remarkable evening here on Capitol Hill. We knew this day would come. We also knew the likely result, but it didn't take away from the drama that unfolded.
Article 1 is adopted.
It was predicted, but still a sobering moment of gravity rarely seen in American history. Along mostly party lines, the House Wednesday impeaching President Trump. Democrats getting what many sought after for so long, even if reluctantly.
Today, I will vote to impeach the President of the United States. I want you to know that it does not feel good.
More than 7 hours of debate and dramatics, from a focus on the Pledge of Allegiance
and to the republic for which it stands,
to a moment of silence.
Remember the voices of the 63 million American voters the Democrats today are wanting to silence.
While President Trump, in an unusual move, avoided the media while leaving the White House during proceedings, back on the Hill, Republicans were fighting on his behalf.
When Jesus was falsely accused of treason, Pontius Pilate gave Jesus the opportunity to face his accusers. During that sham trial, Pontius Pilate afforded more rights to Jesus than the Democrats have afforded this president in this process.
You're so blinded by your hate that you can't see straight that you've decided the only way we can make sure this president doesn't get elected again is to impeach him.
Remember, neither the president nor his attorneys have taken part at all in the process so far, but they claim that they will participate and are looking forward to a full Senate trial because they say the president will not just be acquitted, they believe he'll also be vindicated. On Capitol Hill, Scott Thuman, ABC 7 News.
Now, if you've ever been to the Capitol after a vote is taken in the House, what normally happens is lawmakers will make their way down the stairs in the front and they go towards the cameras and they will talk with reporters and give their response or reaction. Tonight, we saw a lot of lawmakers running away from the cameras, which is a first in my professional experience. We did have a couple of lawmakers and also a filmmaker that took some time to talk about what happened tonight inside the House.
We're now using impeachment as a weapon. Weaponizing impeachment is dangerous. I voted against Bill Clinton's impeachment for that reason.
What was your reaction to what happened in there?
Well, I was very moved by the moment that this Congress would stand up to this man in the White House.
Now, it was almost timed perfectly because as the votes were being tabulated in the House, President Trump came out from behind backstage in Michigan to a friendly crowd and was holding a campaign rally. This was in central Michigan, a very friendly crowd. And there he issued a warning to Democrats.
The do-nothing Democrats, and they are do-nothing. All they want to do is focus on this. What they could be doing are declaring their deep hatred and disdain for the American voter. This lawless partisan impeachment is a political suicide march for the Democrat Party.
Now, after the vote, the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, took a second to remember the late Elijah Cummings. Remember, Elijah Cummings squared off with the president, and she wanted the House members to know Elijah Cummings' thoughts and comments regarding impeachment.
When we're dancing with the angels, the question will be, what did you do to make sure we kept our democracy intact? We did all we could, Elijah. We passed the 2 articles of impeachment. The president is impeached.
So by now, many of you have already heard what happens next. Now that it's wrapped up in the House, this will now move to the Senate, where the trial will take place. The jurors in this case will be the Senate members. This is now going to happen relatively quickly. They expect this to get to the Senate by early January. It does take 2/3 majority, though, for the president to be impeached and removed from office. And every expert you talk to, everyone, no matter what side of the aisle, say that is not going to happen in the Senate. Here's what you need to know about the rules, though. It takes just a simple majority to change the rules. And while Majority Leader Mitch McConnell rejected the Democrats' request to bring witnesses to testify, any senator can ask during the trial for a witness. And Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts, he'll preside over the trial, and he can put it to a majority vote at any point that he'd like to. Also, don't expect a fiery, made-for-TV event in the Senate. This is a trial. It is a lot different. Rules were established in 1986 for just this kind of thing. Cameras can only focus on the speakers and not be roving around the chamber and showing members of the Senate because, after all, they are the jurors. Now, the political debate that we saw today in the House and some of the grandstanding that takes place, that may happen in the Senate, but it will only be happening before the proceedings and after the proceedings. Now, again, there's going to be a lot that's going to happen here. Talking to some Senate members tonight, they do say they hope to have this in the Senate early January and hope to have this all wrapped up by late January. We'll be with it every step of the way. You can follow it as well on WJLA.com. You can also download the free ABC7 News app, which will alert your phone and your pad. That's the very latest from Capitol Hill. Michelle, back to you.
All right, John, thank you so much. Now to another big story we're following, one that is developing. A jury convicted Sean Urbanski in the murder of 22-year-old student and soldier Richard Collins. But new tonight, we're learning the fight for justice isn't over. Collins' family and even the prosecutor want Maryland law to change because they believe Urbanski should have also been convicted of a hate crime. Annalisa Gale is in College Park at the scene of the murder. Annalisa?
Michelle, just take a look. This is where Second Lieutenant Richard Collins III was stabbed to death 2 years ago as he was set to graduate from Bowie State University. We can still see flowers and pictures here in his honor. Prosecutors say more could have been done to ensure that justice is served.
It's been a long road, but we're very pleased with the results.
Prosecutors and family members were partially satisfied with the verdict in Sean Urbanski's trial on Wednesday.
Getting a first-degree premeditated murder conviction is not easy.
Urbanski was found guilty of stabbing Second Lieutenant Richard Collins III to death in 2017. Prosecutor Aisha Braveboy argued that Collins was killed because of his race. Investigators say they found information tying Urbanski to a white supremacist Facebook group.
And we know that Lieutenant Collins was targeted because he was black.
But the judge dismissed the hate crime charge, leaving Collins' family and prosecutors disappointed. Prosecutors believe the law was too narrow.
We respectfully disagree. I believe that he thinks that the hate crime statute required us to prove that the murder only happened because Lieutenant Collins was black and that there was no other reason.
Now they're fighting another battle outside of the courtroom. Braveboy saying that she will soon call for lawmakers to broaden the language of the hate crime statute.
We are looking forward to the journey ahead because this is only the beginning.
And the defense argued that Urbanski was drunk when he stabbed Lieutenant Collins. At this point, we know that prosecutors plan on asking for life without parole during sentencing, which is set for April. Live at the University of Maryland tonight, Annalisa Gale, ABC 7 News.
Annalisa, thank you. And prosecuting hate crimes is notoriously difficult across the country. Just this September, Maryland released its annual report finding that in 2018, almost 70% of reported hate crimes were inconclusive. They could only verify a little more than a quarter. And if you look at the data going back for 3 years, the trend still holds. Of the more than 1,000 reported hate crimes investigated, only about 40% could be verified. Taking a live look now outside tonight, a bitter cold evening. When you wake up, though, it could be one of the coldest mornings, if not the coldest since last winter. Stormwatch 7 Chief Meteorologist Bill Kelly with the forecast. You need to add the extra layer, Bill.
Oh, you sure do. And when we account for the wind chill, by far the coldest morning. Out the door tomorrow morning, 23 in D.C. We've been down to 26 officially so far, 20 in Leesburg, 19 around Winchester. But look at the winds and the wind chill. We're talking about single digit and low teens for your wind chill factor. Out the door tomorrow morning, 11 in D.C., 8 Gaithersburg, 9 Hagerstown, down to 4 in Cumberland. We're going to warm up, but very slowly. We'll talk about that, plus look ahead to the weekend, travel plans, that type of look before we get to the holiday coming up in just a few minutes.
New tonight at 11.
I'm speechless. Look at all those boxes.
She's terminally ill, but viewers made her dream come true. Thousands of Christmas cards, but there was still one more surprise next. And covering Alexandria, he was the inspiration for Remember the Titans. Coach Herman Boone has passed away tonight. The football and civil rights champion is being remembered. We are tracking breaking news tonight. A mall shooting. This is in San Antonio, Texas. 4 people were shot leaving the mall, and 2 men suspected of opening fire drove away. One of the victims was in critical condition, but they were all listed at last check as stable. Again, police are searching for 2 men potentially connected to this mall shooting in Texas. We'll keep you posted. Looking ahead to tomorrow, a big day in Alexandria, breaking ground on the Potomac Yard Metro Station. ABC 7 cameras saw fencing up around the site and crews going in earlier this month, but shovels will ceremoniously dig in Thursday afternoon. We will be there. Construction will take at least 2 years with an opening sometime in 2022. Some contract workers at Reagan National and Dulles International airports are getting a raise. We told you the vote was happening today, and a minimum wage increase to $15 an hour by 2023 was approved. Some of those employees include baggage handlers, wheelchair attendants, and airline caterers. Now to some must-see video and a must-see update at 11. That is a group of Christmas carolers singing to a Stafford woman with terminal cancer. Jean Lee says she had no idea the community would be so supportive. Last Friday, ABC 7 reported on her plea for cards to help get through her battle with cancer. Well, since then, she's received hundreds of cards, all from strangers.
I feel better than I have in a long time. It's like, wow. Just sharing the stories with people, sharing their stories with me, it's done a lot for my spirit.
That is so great to see. Cards aren't the only thing that she's received. We're talking flowers, barbecue, and chocolates in the mail as well. Well, tonight we are mourning the man who served as the inspiration for the classic film Remember the Titans. Herman Boone, the former head football coach at T.C. Williams High School, passed away today at 84 years old. Tonight, Heather Graff went to Alexandria, where Boone is being remembered as a champion of both sports and civil rights.
A Titan is defined as someone who stands out for greatness of achievement. And at T.C. Williams High School, that was Herman Boone.
What he and his fellow coaches and players did in 1971 was extremely important for our community.
I come to win.
His story was brought to life on the big screen nearly 20 years ago, with Denzel Washington playing the role of Coach Boone in Remember the Titans.
Oh, he had a blast with the film. He thought he was better looking than Denzel. He used to say that all the time, of course kidding.
Longtime TC principal John Porter considered the man behind the movie a friend, a colleague, and a game changer who helped transform race relations in Virginia. That's because Boone became the Titans head football coach after Alexandria integrated its high schools, and he led the team to a state championship that served as a symbol of unity for the entire city.
The times dictated pulling together, and the team, helped to do that.
So when Alexandria City Public Schools announced Boone had died early Wednesday morning at the age of 84, the tributes began pouring in. Former Alexandria Police Chief Earl Cook, who played for the Titans during that historic 1971 season, told us that Boone influenced his life greatly and provided leadership during a time of turmoil.
I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other.
Remembering a Titan and now missing him in this community.
It was extremely important.
Heather Graff, ABC 7 News.
ABC 7 on Storm Watch, snow squalls hitting the Northeast. Imagine lines of storms like in spring and summer, but with whiteout conditions and snow. And that's what you end up with. This is a time lapse from New York City where in a matter of minutes there, sunshine turned to incredibly heavy snow, and it got so dark quickly and then it was gone. The sun even started coming back out.
Yeah, very dangerous
That's a
on
quick
the road.
change.
Yeah, it is. And I just retweeted an image of a horrible, like not an image, but it just talks about the snow squall. And there was an accident on Interstate 80 up in Northeast, and there's like 50 semi-trucks that are squeezed together because they're just driving, and all of a sudden they hit one of those and they can't see, and next thing you know, that happens. Snow squalls, very dangerous. Hey, speaking of snow, before we get into the details here, I want to take you back on this day, December 18th.
Oh, wow.
10 years ago, it was the beginning of a major snowstorm that dumped 16.4 inches of snow. Now, that's a big snowmaker right there. 16.4 inches of snow over 2 days, and we had 15 inches on the 19th, which is tomorrow. That's the snowiest single day ever in December. And also, too, 10 years ago was the last time we had a white Christmas, and on that Christmas, 7 inches of snow still sat on the ground after this particular event. And it was the snowiest Christmas measured that way in terms of how much snow on the ground we've ever had 10 years ago. 23 out the door tomorrow morning in D.C., got 20 in Leesburg, 17 Cumberland. Feels like temperatures are going to be much lower than that. It is our story tomorrow. The skies are going to be beautiful, lots of sunshine. But look at, we warm only, if you want to call it that, into the mid-20s with the wind chill factors tomorrow. So you'll need to layer up big time, but sunny tomorrow, sunny through most of the day on Friday. So I want to advance to 11 o'clock, basically 2 days from now, on Friday, and talk about what's going on. The next couple of days, if you have any travel plans, it's great, no problems at all. We'll see some clouds start to work in here late Friday night, and what we're going to be tracking for you, and I mean that actually, it's what we say when we take a system and kind of monitor it and track to see which way it's going to go and how it may impact you, is this one down in the Gulf. This is Saturday night. Widespread rain through the deep south, through Florida. We'll watch the northern edge of that rain on Saturday night, Sunday morning, start to creep closer to our area. It's going to bring us more cloud cover on Sunday. But at this point, it looks to stay south of our area on Sunday and into Monday. But when we say tracking, that's exactly what we're going to do. And you can do it also on the Stormwatch 7 weather app, which, by the way, we've just launched a new one. Updated if you haven't yet, please download it as well. And you can track this as well. So other than that, we don't see any big weather makers, but that's what we're going to watch on Sunday and Monday. And right now, if that makes it to our area, it does look like it would be in the form of rain. Things, of course, could change. Mother Nature is going to do what she wants to do. But, man, it looks like it's going to be a dry and green Christmas around here. 34 tomorrow, though. It's going to be a chilly day, but that's what we're tracking as we head on into next week. Michelle.
Bill, thank you. Next at 11, we're getting in the holiday spirit. ABC 7 viewers shared these Christmas decorations with us earlier today. We asked you for more, and you have to see what we got. Christmas, it is on, and we want to see your pictures. Some people have 2 trees. Lynn shared her snow people themed tree, then hit the lights on her traditional one. Look at that, so pretty. And now to be outdone, Hanukkah, Christmas, and Festivus in Jennifer's home. She's got it covered. Yes, those are Hanukkah stockings above the fireplace. Again, go to WJLA.com and tap Chime In at the top to upload your holiday pictures. You might see them right here online, and on TV.
So much commitment to the holiday decorations.
I
Me, I just get a fake tree, I put some lights on it, and then my wife does the rest with the stockings on the fireplace.
That's still, it's a team effort.
Exactly. It's enough. We get the festive spirit out there, and now we get ready because the Wizards, they've been okay this season, but they're going to need a big gift from Santa Claus to turn this thing around. It was a reality check for the Wizards tonight against the Bulls. Keep it locked to find out why.
And now, the Toyota Sports Desk, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
The Washington Wizards played their first game without rookie Rui Hachimura, who will miss 5 games with a groin injury. Another player who has kept the team in most of their games. Tonight, Isaac Bonga replaced him in the lineup against the Bulls. We'll get back to that in a second because Bradley Beal evolving into big shot Brad. Fadeaway jumper for the lead late. The final seconds for the Bulls. Zach LaVine trying to make something happen on the alley-oop out of the sideline play, but no one really knows what happened. But Bonga gets nailed with a foul. LaVine hits 2 free throws. They go to overtime. That erased an 18-point lead the Wizards held in the fourth quarter, and then in the final seconds of OT, big shot Brad couldn't strike lightning twice. They lose a heartbreaker, 110 to 109. Now, 9th-ranked Virginia hosting Stony Brook, and a lot closer than you might imagine, but not to worry, Wahoo fans. Cavs still come away with the win. Nice defense leading to a textbook fast break, and Cody Statman dropping the mic as Virginia wins by 12, 56-44. So good, we showed it twice. Playoffs are weeks away. College football literally flipped on its head today, landing in College Park. St. John's receiver Raheem Jarrett, 5-star recruit, number 2 ranked receiver in the country according to Rivals.com, flipped from LSU to Maryland in a stunning turn of events on early National Signing Day. It even caught head coach Mike Locksley off guard. Jarrett is the first 5-star recruit to join the Terps since Damian Prince in 2014. We'll be right back.
Well, the temperatures outside, I can't believe. Teens.
Yeah.
It feels like teens.
It feels like teens and even single digits in spots. I think everybody's down there tomorrow. We're going to go 20, 21, somewhere in there for the low on tomorrow morning. Same thing with Friday. With wind chills, we're easily down into the teens. Lots of sunshine, great travel conditions, too.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no issues up and down the entire mid-Atlantic over the next couple of days.
That's great news.
Great for the sled, too, right? The sleigh.
I
Santa's
guess,
sleigh.
if you want to try and risk it down at Green Hill.
Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.